Bitcoin keeps chipping away at all-time highs. Everybody's asking the same question. Are we going to hit the halving first, or are we going to hit 100K? Here's what I think. This one, guys, it's all about the macro. We're going to zoom out on the charts, and I'm going to show you from a macro perspective exactly what I think on the higher time frame. Before we do that, we need to know exactly when is the Bitcoin halving. So in accordance with the current block hash rate for Bitcoin, we've got 35 days left, 20 hours, 36 minutes, and 36 seconds. So the estimated halving date is going to be the 18th of April, 2024. We can build that into our charts. So we've got the halving countdown. We know exactly when the halving is expected. We can look at the fear and greed index. This is the reason why I'm going macro on this one. This is why we're zooming out. We expect a pullback when we're in extreme greed. When the markets hit euphoria, they cannot sustain themselves. When everyone's in profit, they cannot sustain themselves. And that's what's happening at Bitcoin at the moment. So we need to be cautious. Like I say, because everybody makes the money in extreme euphoria. Everybody makes their money when the markets go parabolic, and that's when the most people lose their money too. So this is why we need to be careful and prepare ourselves. So the fear and greed index is telling us we're in 79 today. Yesterday we're in 84, and last week we're in 83. Last month we're in 72. So we're getting greedier as far as the market's concerned. The next thing that we're going to look at is the NUPL, the net unrealized profit and loss. And the thing about this chart that we need to look at is we've got the Bitcoin price down here in the black line, and you've got the net unrealized profit and loss in blue. Now, how do we use this, and how can we get an idea as to whether something's going to pull back? This is an example in 2021, the highs of 2021, the bull run. We touched extreme greed, we touched euphoria, and then we got that big pullback. The second leg wasn't high enough, although the price come back and made a new high. As far as the net unrealized profit and loss is concerned, they had that massive shakeout and we didn't get the new high, and then we had a continuation in the bear market. So you can see where we are now. We're creeping up and we're creeping up and we're creeping up, and we're getting closer to that extreme greed. We're getting closer to that euphoria. So we do need to be careful. And just an example, if Bitcoin did hit 100,000 before the halving, you can expect some kind of a rejection, some kind of a pullback, because we can't sustain euphoria. So what do the charts tell us? So here's the Bitcoin chart, and we've got the chart up on the weekly. Like I said, we've zoomed out, we've gone macro, and the reason for that is because it's going to give us a greater indication as to whether we've got that topping pattern on the higher time frame. So I've got the stochastic RSI up, I've got the relative strength index up, and what we're going to do is we're going to look for topping patterns and topping signals previously on Bitcoin to find out whether we can get any clues as to what's going to happen on the market next. We're going to do that, and then we're going to add some Fibonacci extension levels on afterwards. But firstly, what I want to do is show you previously what topping patterns that we'd had and what signals we got previously that led us to believe that there was going to be some kind of a downturn. So the RSI, this is what happened in 2021. We had a major pullback in May 2021, and then we had the second run of a cycle. That was unusual. It's something that hadn't happened before on Bitcoin, where we'd made a double top and then we'd had a pullback. But also what happened was we'd had this on the RSI. You've come in, you've hit euphoria on the RSI. See where it's gone green here? You've had a major pullback, and as price actions pull back, price actions actually put in a new higher high. The relative index has put in a lower high. So that's showing that the buy-in pressure is not there on the second leg, and then the bear market was imminent. So not only that, guys, if you look at the news, and from a macroeconomic perspective, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos were selling their shares around here. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are selling their shares again right now here. So that's another thing to take into consideration. And it doesn't mean that Bitcoin in the next few weeks can't absolutely fly to the upside. It doesn't mean that, but it means that it's going to be short-lived. It's going to hit euphoria, and the market cannot sustain in that kind of rhythm. So what are the topping patterns have we got? So firstly, if we look for simple topping patterns, you look here. Like I say, where you've got green on the RSI, extreme, 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 overbought. What happens? You've got this major pullback. We can go back. This is 2017 bull run. What happened? You've got the green, extreme, overbought. Now, look what's happening here. We've started hitting green again. Extreme, extreme, overbought. You've got the weekly RSI at the top. What happens every time that the weekly RSI hits the top? We have some form of a pullback. We have some form of a pullback. We have some form of a pullback. So we need to monitor and measure, if we are going to have that pullback, how far that pullback's going to be. So like I say, these moves, they just go parabolic. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't fly to 100,000 tomorrow and then retrace back to 70,000. It doesn't mean that that can't happen. It means that you need to prepare yourself. This is where you need to put in stop losses, and this is where you need to apply the appropriate risk management. So what we'll do is we'll zoom out onto the daily chart, and we'll add in get the line up, where the halving actually is. So 15th of April. There we go, 15th of April. So this is where the expected halving is. We go back onto the weekly. This is how much time we've got. 1, 2, 3 weeks before we hit the halving. 3 to 4 weeks before we hit the halving, guys. So we have to have some kind of a parabolic move if we are going to hit 100,000 before the halving. Right, okay, I promised you Fibonacci extension level. So here we go. What we're going to do, get rid of the indicators. And we're going to look for extension projections on a macro time frame and see what kind of extension levels we've got, because the 1272 is a little bit juicy, let me tell you that. Right, okay, from the swing low all the way to the bull market high, back down to the bear market low. What do we want? We want an equal measured move, minimum equal measured move. Equal measured move on Bitcoin is hitting at 80,000. Let me build in 80,000. That's a psychological round number, but the 1272 extension, which usually forms on a wave 3, where's that hitting? Look at this. Pretty much 100,000, guys, pretty much. If we get a 1272 extension of this major swing, this is my projection, is the 100,000. We need to get past 80,000, which will be the equal measured move. Don't forget, we are in extreme greed. We're in euphoria. So be careful, be cautious, take care of yourself, and goodbye from me.